So, Scarlett Johansson and Disney, Marvel, have seemingly settled their lawsuit. Now, the sort of finer details of how and what has been settled, we don't know. But we can extrapolate some of this information, and we should be able to get a rough idea. We do know that she wanted, or was promised, $80 million, or that's what she was basically wanting. It was an $80 million region for what she thought would be in terms of the sales of the movie theatre tickets, and that's what she believed she was robbed of when it went day and date. So we know that she would want something, somewhere, in the region of that sum of money. Now, obviously, it's a settlement, so it's not going to be exactly that sum of money. But the fact that Disney have chosen to settle, because they didn't have to offer anything. They could have just completely straight up gone to court, which actually is a surprise, seemingly indicates that they would have offered a good amount of money. Now, we do have a Jasper cameo today, as well as a Baby Yoda. Stay tuned for the subscriber mail video for that. But let's dive into today's article. So here we have it, ladies and gents. This is an article courtesy of The Hollywood Reporter. I like to do this format when I want to sit down and sort of, get into the nitty gritty of an article bit by bit, rather than just sort of spot checking little bits of information. So, Scarlett Johansson and Disney have settled a breach of contract lawsuit. Now, remember, that's the point here. It was a breach of contract lawsuit. And it's interesting that Disney has chosen to settle, because it seemingly indicates that either they don't believe that their case in court was that strong, likely, or the PR nightmare that has come from this is not worth the sort of negative impact, and the amount to settle is actually better off. They will be better off to settle than deal with the negative impact. But it is interesting. Now, the terms of the deal was obviously not disclosed. That would be part of their settlement. That it would be part of it, them going, yeah, no, you can't actually talk about this. Now, I'm happy to have resolved our differences with Disney, stated Johansson. I'm incredibly proud of the work we've done together over the years, and have greatly enjoyed my creative relationship with the team. I look forward to continuing our collaboration in years to come. I did not expect any of this. I did not think that they would be working together ever again. Did you? Did you? Because I didn't. This is a massive surprise. She came out gun swinging. Honestly, it was fighting talk. Fighting talk. Now, Disney Studios chairman Alan Bergman added, I'm very pleased that we've been able to come to a mutual agreement with Scarlett Johansson regarding Black Widow. We appreciate her contributions to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and look forward to working together on a number of upcoming projects, including Disney's Tower of Terror. Now, it looks like maybe, I wasn't aware she even had any upcoming projects, quite frankly, but if she did have some upcoming projects, it may have been that they were put on the line as well. Because if it's a breach of contract lawsuit, she can say, well, these other contracts are now null and void, because if you're willing to breach that contract, and obviously if it goes to court and she wins, she can use that leverage against them and say, well, I'm not doing that now, because you have proved yourself to breach contract. So why would I do that? So it could be that there was some other projects in the firing line here. Now, the explosive lawsuit filed by the actress in July, to go from July, this was settled, what was it, yesterday? September 30th. That's quite a long time to be, looming over their heads. Now, that was filed in July, and Los Angeles Supreme Court claimed that the studio sacrificed the film's box office potential in order to grow its fledgling Disney Plus streaming service. Pretty bold claims. Disney countered that Johansson was paid $20 million for the film, and the settlement brings to a close a back-and-forth PR battle that pitted the CAA-repped star against Disney and was poised to have dramatic implications for all of Hollywood's major studios. So I'll throw it out here and I'll say, well, maybe other studios pressured Disney as well. Because if they lost, it sets a precedent. And these people, they're all in bed with one another. So there is no doubt in my mind that if other studios thought that they were at risk here, that they would have subsidised the settlement that Disney had placed. There is no doubt in my mind that that can happen. And there should be no doubt in your mind either. Now, Johansson's cause received support in the industry with talent and executives, including Jamie Lee Curtis, Marvel's WandaVision star Elizabeth Olsen, and Jason Blum speaking out on her behalf. At the time of the complaint, a Disney spokesperson said, in part, the lawsuit is especially sad and distressing in its callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. M-COVID, basically. It was because of M-COVID. Don't sue us because M-COVID. M-COVID's going on. Don't sue us. Shut up. Not relevant to anything involved here. It's just a buzzword to get people on your side. Sad, sad, pathetic. Now, CAA co-chairman Brian Lord shot back that Disney shamelessly and falsely accused Miss Johansson of being insensitive to the global COVID-19 pandemic in an attempt to make her appear to be someone they, and I, know she isn't. This back and forth went on and on and on and on. And it's quite insane that they've settled this. Because I thought Disney just would have gone, no, see you later. No, we don't want to work with you ever again. See you later. In her complaint, Johansson said the Marvel tentpole had been guaranteed an exclusive theatrical release when she signed her deal. She alleged that her contract was breached when the film was simultaneously released on Disney+. As the coronavirus pandemic wreaked havoc on Hollywood over the past 18 months, Black Widow was one of many big-budget movies, also including Warner Bros. Wonder Woman 1984, and they have since come out and said, yeah, we rushed that decision. That was a quick choice that we made, and basically saying that we regretted it. This is HBO and Warner Media. Now, but to date, Johansson is the only major movie star to sue, because obviously there was a whole bunch of other movies, Cruella, Jungle Cruise, Wonder Woman 1984, etc. But we do know that Warner Media actually paid their stars off. We know that. They gave additional money out. I think overall it was like between $8 to $20 million between everyone, if I remember rightly. They had a pot that they sort of distributed around. So they'd already paid people off. So, I mean, they've obviously avoided all of that, whereas Disney chose not to. Why would Disney forego hundreds of millions of dollars in box office receipts by releasing the picture in theatres at a time when it knew the theatrical market was weak, rather than waiting a few months for that market to recover, the complaint asked. On information and belief, the decision to do so was at least in part because Disney saw the opportunity to promote its flagship subscription service using the picture and Ms. Johansson, thereby attracting new paying monthly subscribers, retaining existing ones, and establishing Disney Plus as a must-have service in an increasingly competitive marketplace. I mean, we knew that they were going to do that anyway. But it hasn't done very well. I mean, it's 379 million worldwide. It was never going to do that well. It was quite... where would it... It wasn't going to do well. Like, it just wouldn't have. Johansson versus Disney marked the latest iteration of a profit participation dispute that is all too common in Hollywood, with actors fighting studios over their back-end compensation or the definition of net profit. A very few of these battles percolate to the surface because they're just done behind closed doors, and they often come to a resolution before lawyers get involved, and that's why this is quite... Well, it's an exception, isn't it? It's an exception to all of that. Yeah, I mean, in the wake of Johansson's lawsuit, more than a handful of other A-listers were said to be considering filing similar suits. Even Dwayne Johnson was apparently not one of them, given that he had a different compensation structure than Johansson, so that's different. But we did hear that Emma Stone might have been thinking about that. But then she closed a deal for a new Cruella anyway. So maybe that was part of her deal. So again, this situation with Johansson is quite rare. It's quite an unusual thing. While Disney has faced criticism for its handling of talent deals during the pandemic, Warner Media took a different approach by proactively doling out as much as $200 million. Sorry, I was way off. $200 million to pay a long list of stars whose Warner Brothers films were simultaneously opening in theatres and on its HBO Max streaming service, including Patty Jenkins, Gal Gadot, and Will Smith. I mean, that's why they've not been sued. They were just like, you know what? Yeah, here you go. Here's a bunch of money. Shut up. Like, I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? Like, of course you would pay. Like, of course you would. It avoids all of this. So, quite baffling that this has actually, ended up the way that it has now, i.e., the lawsuit is done. No more. No more lawsuit. It's interesting. I don't think she was ever going to get anywhere near the sums of money that she thought she was going to do with that film. It boggles my mind that she thought she was going to get anywhere close to $1 billion for Black Widow. It's not a film that would have ever got that amount of money anyway. We know where her character ends up. It's obviously not a particularly good place. But interesting that they chose to settle out of court. Now, I would say that she must have got somewhere in the region of $40 million. At the very least, 50% of what she was asking. It has to be. Or at the very least, other deals for future work. Who knows? But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Please do turn the bell notifications on. And like I said, if you are new here, you stay to the end of the video. You must have enjoyed it at least a little bit. So do hit that subscribe button. Guys, if you want to support further, I actually have a second channel. I know, wow, what the hell's going on? I've got a second channel. It's in the description box. It's a car channel / vlogs, but I work on cars predominantly. Some interesting stuff there. Rally car run rebuilding. Check it out. We've also got memberships and Patreon if you want to support further. And also watch my films, which I have made. That's the tier 2 membership here on the channel. Thanks so much. Take care.